Now that we have pages and buttons under our belt, we can add a bit more flexibility to our panel design by adding pop-up pages. Pop-up pages work a lot like an OS prompt window on your computer, or a web browser pop-up page congratulating you on being the 1 millionth visitor and to claim your free iPad. Creating a pop-up page is kind of a mix of creating a page and a button. I can either click on Panel in the menu bar and select Add Pop-up Page, give the page a name, tell it how far in from the left and down from the top to be positioned, and enter the width and height. Or I can just draw the pop-up page like a button. Click Edit in the menu bar and select Pop-up Draw Tool. When we hover the mouse over the page, I can see the cursor change like it did with the button Draw tool, but this time there's a little blue page icon as well. Now to draw my pop-up page, I just click and drag on the page just like drawing a button, like this. Click Edit in the menu bar again and click on Selection Tool. Now we can drag the pop-up around and resize it just like we did with a button. We're going to use this pop-up for selecting the sources we'll be programming in the other tutorials, so put it across the bottom of the page like this. Going to the General tab in the Properties pane, I can give this pop-up page a name. I'm going to call this Sources. I can also see the current size and location information here and modify it if I need to do some fine-tuning. I can set a timeout for the pop-up here. This means that after the pop-up shows on screen, it will automatically go away after the amount of time I put here. I don't want this pop-up page to go away, so I'll leave the 0 here and the pop-up will never time out. To make this more visually appealing, we can add show and hide effects. Select an effect from the drop-down. I'm going to choose Slide Up from Bottom. Now there are boxes where I can tell it where to slide in from and how long it will take to slide in. Let's have it slide up from the bottom of the screen. The effect time is in seconds, so let's set that to 2 and do the same for the hide effect parameters. Going over to the States tab, you can see, like a page, there's only one state. Let's set the border type and color. Since my page's background image already has a bottom bar graphic, I really don't need any border or fill for my pop-up. So my border name will be None, and my fill color will be transparent. After we click here to open the Colors dialog window, there are 2 ways you can set the fill to transparent. Click here and slide this fader all the way to the left to set the opacity to 0, or click Choose Color By, Color Name, and select Transparent here. Now all you need to do is add some buttons. Just draw one for now. You'll be adding more buttons later. Set the border and fill properties to make the button fit with the rest of your theme. In all states, I'll round the corners of the button with the Circle 15 border and use a dark gray gradient fill for the off state and a blue fill for on. In the off state fill type, select top to bottom. Now you can select the gradient colors by clicking here to open the Fill Colors window. For the first color, click here to open the Colors window and pick the color you want to be on top. Click OK, and then do the same for color 2, but choose a slightly darker color this time. Setting the on-state fill should be easy for you now. I'm going with a light blue color. Set the button text in all states to Relays. I want this pop-up to always show when the touch panel first boots up. To do this, click File in the menu bar and click Project Properties. In this window, click Panel Setup Information. Right here is where you can tell the panel what page and pop-ups to show at Power Up. Click the green plus to add a pop-up and select the Sources pop-up. Click Apply and then close this window. As you can probably guess, the Relays button will need to launch another pop-up page. This new pop-up will be used in an upcoming tutorial and will have 4 buttons on it. First, let's make the pop-up. Click Panel in the menu bar and select Add Pop-up Page. We're making this page to control some relays, so we'll name it Relays. I want this pop-up to fill the center screen area. So I'll set the left and top position to 0 and 62, and the width and height to 1024 and 450. Set the page background color to transparent. We won't be needing a border, so set that to none, and then click OK. Because this is the first of many source pop-up pages that we'll be creating, I'm going to create a group name for my pop-up page right here. This allows me to group pop-ups with similar functionality and ensures that only one pop-up in this group can be on screen at a time. I'm going to enter the name Sources. After I hit Enter, you'll notice that there is a new subfolder in the Pop-up Pages folder. Any other source pop-up I create should also be put into this group by selecting the group name from the drop-down. Add 4 buttons to the pop-up. To make it quick, you can copy and paste the System Power button we drew in the previous tutorial. Select the main page and right-click on the button. Select Copy. Go back to the pop-up, right-click anywhere, and select Paste. Paste the button 3 more times. Change the All States text of these buttons to say, Screen Up, Screen Down, Screen Stop, and Screen Preset. When you're done, you can delete the original System Power button on the main page since we won't be using that for anything else. You can configure the Relays button in the source selection bar to show the Relays pop-up whenever it is pressed. This can be done with Netlink's code, but the panel can also do this by itself. Click on the button and select the Events tab. Page flips and activating pop-ups are done in the Button Release event. Click on Button Release and then on the square to show the Event Actions editor. Click the drop-down for Add Page Flip and select Show Pop-up. In the description over here, select the Relays page from the drop-down and then click OK. What we have to do now is transfer the file to the panel and verify that everything's working properly in the next tutorial.